This eye's still a little bit blurry. The other part of this eye is blurry. But the main thing that's bothering me at the minute is double vision.
When he's looking up and in, the left eye is going up and in extremely well. The right eye is kind of stopping. You see how the right eye is just not as high up as the left, and that's a restriction. So the eye wants to go and he wants to track it, but the more I do this, the more he's going to start aching in that upper inner aspect. And what he's going to do is, if he's in a fight situation, he's not going to be dealing with it. He doesn't want the ache in the eye, and he also doesn't want to have double. So what he's going to do is tilt his head. So that's on that side. If you look at the left, which should be matching it, so you're looking across, up, 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 as much as you can. And you can see how, again, with the right eye, it's up and out, but the left eye is just not able to go as extremely up as possible.
When I got poked in the eye, obviously, and then people were like, his eye wasn't even red. Does your eye always go red when there's something wrong, or is that?
You can absolutely lose your vision without having a painful red eye. So you don't need a red eye to have blurred vision at all. So no.
Yeah. So how long till I can train properly, spar?
It's a long road ahead, but the prognosis is guarded at the moment. I would recommend that you wouldn't fight until your double visions resolve.
Tom Aspinall went to the doctors, and the doctors has confirmed that he's got some issues with his eyeballs. He's got some soft tissue damage to the eyeballs, and that will happen when a 6'6" Frenchman sticks both of his fingers knuckle deep into your eyeballs, okay? So that's not surprising. But what is surprising is that he has something called Brown syndrome, which basically is where the eyes aren't moving in tandem with one another. So therefore, the eyes, which are basically cameras, right, for your brain, as in case you don't know, they're seeing different images. And when you see different images, you see double, or maybe sometimes the brain cuts out one of the images so that it doesn't get confusing and you don't get headaches and stuff like that. And then, of course, when you're only seeing through one eye, you have problems with depth perception.
Tom Aspinall has always carried himself with humility, professionalism, and heavyweight violence. He took short notice fights, saved cards, and never chased drama. But now he's facing the ugliest backlash of his career, all because of a serious, career-threatening eye injury from the Cyril Gane fight. This wasn't a minor poke. It caused vision issues, migraines, and real long-term risk. Tom explained everything clearly. Calm. Honest. No excuses, and that's when things got ugly. John Jones, silent for over a year while Tom chased the unification, suddenly returned to mock the injury and imply Tom quit. When Tom wanted the fight, John disappeared. When Tom got hurt, John found his voice. That hypocrisy is what shook the MMA world, because eye injuries don't test heart, they end careers.
It looked like Curtis Blaze came to beat Tom Aspinall up that night. Tom throws a kick and magically gets hurt. I would expect a fighter to at least attempt to stand back up or at least limp. And with Tom, he was just completely out of the fight. And his last situation was Cyril Gane. He gets poked in the eye. Normally you see fighters that are doing this number, trying to get the doctor to look at it. And actually, initially the doctor's just like, he seems fine. Tom's like, no, I can't see. I can't. The guy wasn't trying to see.
Yeah.
The guy didn't want to see. The eye that he was covering appeared to be the eye that actually didn't get penetrated. One eye, the finger goes all the way underneath the eyelid. The other eye, it was on top of the eyelid. And he ends up grabbing the eye where the finger was on top of the eyelid. I don't even think Tom really knew which eye was supposed to be more compromised. He just knew that he had been fouled and it was his way out. So that alone shows me a little bit what's behind the facade of this whole Tom Aspinall character.
Can we get full-time bully Aspinall after this smear campaign? How are you going to be on the comeback?
Right, when I come back, there is no more Mr. Nice Guy. Nice Tom. When it comes to MMA, he's gone, and I'm going full bad guy, I think.
I feel as Tom's a great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony.
When you look at people talking shit online of like, oh, you know, he's ducking this guy or he's dodging this guy, they haven't seen the work that you've done in the past and how dominant you've been. We know you're not ducking this guy. I mean, talk to me about what you saw in his fight with Gane. I mean, because Gane looked like he was controlling the fight.
With Cyril Gane?
Yeah.
I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. Beautiful 1-2. That's really about it. He couldn't touch Cyril Gane at all. That's the way I felt. felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He's shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him.
That jab.
He busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game plan.
When Tom gets hurt, he's like immediately incapacitated. It's like, you poke my eye.
He never tried to look. It was rag on the eye immediately. He doesn't have the dog in him.
Eye injuries can't be toughed out. Fighters who try often end up blind or permanently damaged. That's where Dana White's anger really boils over. He watched the UFC try to make Jones versus Aspinall. He watched John pull out. He watched fans turn on Tom after the eye poke. He watched the narrative get twisted into something it never was, and while Tom was in hospitals, running tests, trying to save his career, John chose that moment to mock him publicly. Dana hates that, not out of favoritism, but because it undermines fighter safety, damages the UFC's image, and turns a real medical crisis into a social media circus designed to humiliate a man who did everything right. Now the heavyweight division is split, those who feel John is sabotaging the legacy, and those who see Tom being unfairly destroyed by ignorance.
And he's waiting around for John Jones for a whole year, over a year. Career on hold. Despite the fact that he told everyone, look, this guy ain't going to fight me. He's going to retire before he'll fight me. So you might as well just give me the title now. But unfortunately, the UFC, they wanted to believe that their GOAT was the man that they bigged him up to be. And they were wrong. And after working his whole life to become UFC heavyweight champion, this was the way it was announced.
John Jones called us last night and retired. John Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspinall is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
All right, Dana, calm down. Don't get too excited. And that was in the middle of the night in some random ass UFC press conference. No ceremony, no celebration, no congratulations, Tom. We've got the best young fighter in the world. It was as if no one gave a fuck from the UFC. It was so bad. And I get Dana was pissed because he'd been made to look a fool by John Jones. But that was never Tom Aspinall's fault. Tom just wanted to fight the best guy he possibly could. And you'd think MMA fans would love that. There's a fighter who's trying to fight the best, wants to win the title, wants to defend the title and be an active heavyweight champion, something we've not had in God knows how long in the UFC. But no, because John Jones weirdly has a lot of fans who want to see him protected and not get his chin smashed to bits, they supported the guy who ran away from the fight and trashed Tom consistently. What a weird fan base.
Dana is now stuck in a feud that never should have existed. The UFC wanted Tom versus John for the historic White House card, the biggest promo moment in company history. But John's refusal, followed by him returning only to mock a serious injury, pushed Dana to shut that door completely. The White House fight will move forward without John Jones. Meanwhile, Tom is fighting for his reputation while dealing with a real medical crisis. As more details about the injury come out, backlash against John is growing. Fighters, journalists, and champions are calling out the disrespect, especially since Tom never once attacked John and always showed him respect. This has become a powder keg for the UFC. They can't keep ignoring eye pokes, can't keep letting injured fighters be shamed, and can't keep letting legends rewrite reality at the expense of fighters who did nothing wrong.
Does he fight in 2026? True or false?
Well,
he's talking so much smack about Tom.
He doesn't have the money to not. He doesn't have the money to walk away. He doesn't have any choice. I mean, that's
why did he walk away to begin with? He was offered $30 million. Yeah. He asked for 30, and he got that.
Yeah, no,
and now he's apologizing.
Yeah, no, I don't know. He
miscalculated that one.
Yeah, he did that thing with Nate, and they got $300,000, and it took 30 days, and so all of a sudden he's like, "Well, if I can make $300,000 in 30 days, and I can do this every 30 days."
Sure.
No, it's. I mean, sometimes explaining very basic things it can be tough, but will he fight again? Yes, I believe so, and I think there's some real legs. Look, if you're the UFC, the last thing you want to do is empower a dude that you can't count on, and by the way, it ties back into my theory to whoever's keeping him out of the rankings. Like there's something afoot there.
What are you left feeling after the fight?
Well, look, if you were sidelined from doing your job for like 15 months, not allowed to do anything, you train your ass off for 6 months for a fight, and then to get double eye pokes, be left with no vision for nearly 6 weeks because of an illegal move. How do you think I feel? I'm not feeling fantastic.
This tension is exactly why Dana White is losing patience. John Jones mocking a man facing possible long-term vision damage isn't trash talk, it's an insult to the sport. Tom Aspinall never asked for sympathy, never played victim. He showed the scans, explained the damage, and told the truth. Instead of respect, he got labeled weak. The irony? Tom built his career on stepping up when others step away. He didn't quit. He suffered an eye injury so serious it disrupted movement and threatened permanent damage. No fighter continues under that without risking blindness. That's where Dana drew the line. His seen eye pokes ruin careers. He knows what compromised vision means in heavyweight fights. So when John dismissed the injury, Dana saw it as reckless and dangerous to fighter safety, and that's why this hit him personally. Tom represents everything the UFC wants in a champion: professional, reliable, fearless. The fact that this fighter is now being dragged while dealing with a career-threatening injury is exactly what pushed Dana to the breaking point.
Through this, Tom's the one that's getting absolutely slaughtered online, and Tom's the one 6 weeks later still having to go to the doctor and still can't train and do any kind of combat. So he's the man that's living with this, okay? So you understand, you kind of will get emotional, you will be pissed off, and you will think that Cyril Gane was doing that on purpose. I still don't, okay? I don't think Cyril Gane did that on purpose. What you want to do is crack someone in the face, and when the hands are out, when you go to grab, if someone comes in to take you down or whatever, sometimes that happens. That's why this whole rule of the fingers being up, not allowed there, but they're allowed there, is stupid.
This is #1 bullshit.
Because what happens when someone comes forward and you go to grab them, because you can grab, you're allowed to in the rules, fingers go haywire, go into eyes. Make a fist, make a loose fist. It's not hard. That's all that's going to happen. But anyway, so Tom's saying that, and he's getting absolutely slaughtered online. A lot of people are talking shit, okay? All you've got to do is Google his name, look on Instagram, look on Twitter, and some of the comments are just ridiculous.
Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it all went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know?
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah, total pain in the ass, but yes.
Think about Dana White saying Tom didn't continue.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so.
And then also, who gives it to eye pokes?
Who gives it?
Well, listen, I didn't continue. I'll tell you why I didn't continue. Because I'm not a dummy. Like, I'm not going to go out there and fight one of the best strikers in the world if I can't see. I know, as an MMA fighter, look, things are going to happen in the fight that compromise you. Go back and watch my fight with Arlovski. The end of the first round, he punched me right in the eyeball. For the rest of that fight, I couldn't see him out that eye. That's fine. If you get punched or kicked in the eye, that's fine. If you get double eye poked in both eyes and you've got no vision because of a foul, why should I carry on so some dummy can look and say, oh yeah, Tom just got knocked out? Because I ain't going to fight if I can't see anything because of a foul.
A former champion chasing relevance while a true contender fights for his future. That collision is what finally pushed Dana White to confront John Jones publicly. John wasn't removed from the White House card because of contracts. He was removed because the UFC won't reward a fighter who mocks the injuries of the man who held the division together in his absence. That decision wasn't about matchmaking. It was about respect. And as Tom Aspinall continues medical tests and searches for answers, the MMA world is realizing the truth. The narrative against him was never based on facts. It was based on impatience.
Some reporters think that because I think that he should box because it's more money, that affected him in the fight. I've never heard as much as people saying what I say affects Tom in a fight. I say loads of things to loads of people. People who are around me all the time know that. Boxers are around me all the time. It's just because of the money. And it's the back to, if your son was a fighter, would you sooner fight for a ton of money or not a ton of money? It's a no-brainer, but people still have a narrative of what a fight is. You know, something needs doing about it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's horrendous for me to look at that.
Say that. How is he not disqualified off that?
It's outrageous. And then people start booing me like, my fault. Big double fault in the eye, mate. Just trained for 14 months. Trust me, didn't want someone's finger knuckle deep in my eye. It's the last thing I wanted.
Bully Aspinall has finally come out. Tom Aspinall is showing he doesn't care about the UFC and the UFC fans who have been giving him shit for a long time.
He's going at the fans, he's going at Dana White, and he's going at Cyril Gane.
Let's go over what he said. Cyril Gane is a cheater. He goes into fights looking to eye poke, back of the head shots. He even said John Jones, before he fought Cyril Gane, called him a cheater as well. Then he says he's pissed off with Dana White, and he's also said he's got Brown syndrome, which is a pretty serious eye condition, which may involve surgery. He's not training right now. He just wants to get his eyes back to 100%.
And you know what? It's all warranted. Dana White, very unnecessary comments after that fight.
You know, he's very much been the nice guy, the polite Englishman, the gentleman. Now, he doesn't care. The gloves are off, and this Tom Aspinall is going to self-ice, and dare I say, he's going to knock out Cyril Gane. He's coming in with a vengeance in him.
Smear campaign only survived because the loudest voices drowned out the truth. Now that the truth is out, fighters across the sport are standing with Tom. This is no longer about who the best heavyweight is. It's about who represents the sport with dignity, who understands the weight of their platform, and who is willing to stand by a fighter who gave the UFC everything he had.